So a lot of people reach out and say, Peter, how do I actually make more money? Whether it's in property or business or just day to day. Now, I want to share with you guys something that I've learned from my mentor, and this is something that I paid to get advice from, but I want to share it with you guys to effectively allow you guys to actually make more money in anything that you're wanting to go out and do. So when I first actually said to my mentor that, this year I want to actually make more money than I ever did compared to my previous years, he said, well, that's simple. All you need to do, Peter, is make decisions faster. Okay, now if you understand that, you're able to actually make a decision and not procrastinate on certain things, because that's where a lot of people are spending the majority of their time. They're spending the majority of the time thinking about making a decision, whether they should say yes or whether they should no, but not actually making any decision at all. So I want to share with you guys something that my mentor shared with me and how to go about making an effective decision very, very quickly. Now, it works for me because every day we have to make a decision whether we need to purchase a property that's worth $500,000 or $1 million, and we have to decide very quickly whether we say yes or no. Now, if we delay it too long, guess what? That property is going to get taken from under our feet by someone else that's actually going to pounce at the opportunity. So you've got to pounce at the opportunity very quickly and don't procrastinate. Now, here's the method that I personally use. Here's the model that I use and how to go about making effective decisions. Now, anytime that there comes to a point where you need to make a decision, there's only ever three outcomes. There's only ever three outcomes. Now, those three outcomes are, what is the best case scenario if I decide to go ahead and do this? What is, number two, the most likely scenario if I go ahead and decide to do this? And lastly, what is the absolute worst case scenario in this situation if I go ahead and decide to do this? Now, if the best case scenario and the most likely scenario far outweighs the worst case scenario, then what you do is you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you say yes and you take on the opportunity. Now, in only instances where the worst case scenario far outweighs the best case and the most likely scenario, at that point you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you don't do it. Here's an example that I personally use when I look at properties. For example, if I look at a property deal and there's a good chance that it's going to make me $150,000, that's the best case scenario, right? So I've ticked it off. It's ticked off at $150,000 for best case. Now, most likely, if I'm conservative on the deal and if I can't find the right buyer, I might not make $150,000, but I might make, say, $100,000. Right, and that's also still very good odds. Now, if I look at the worst case, and the absolute worst case in this situation is that the worst outcome is that I still make $20,000 on the deal, right? $20,000. I'm going to assess those three outcomes and go, well, the best case and the most likely is the fact that I could either make $150,000 or $100,000, and the worst case is I'm going to make $20,000. Well, there's not that much risk involved because I'm still making money on the worst case. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'll go ahead and do it. Now, in an instance where the worst case is me losing money, then that's probably a situation where I'll say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I won't do it. Now, please use this method of making a decision not just for property purchases in business, but also in everyday, day-to-day life and your personal life all the same. And, I do it often. I might be, out with the boys in town and whatever, and there'll be a gorgeous girl that walks past. Now, chances are, I'm starting to get butterflies in my stomach going, should I actually, introduce myself? Now, the best case is that if I introduce myself and we kick it off and have a great conversation, that could lead to more serious things. She could end up being my partner, and so forth, right? Now, the most likely situation is that, well, I'm a confident male, I've got something to bring to the table, and she might be the same. And if that's the case, she's a gorgeous girl. If that's the case, well, we're probably going to have some decent conversation, and I'll probably at least leave with her phone number maybe, and maybe I can take her out to a drink or take her out to dinner later on down the track. Now, the absolute worst case in that scenario is that she might say, sorry, you're not my type, or sorry, I've already got a boyfriend. Now, ultimately that's not that bad. So in that situation, I'll say, well, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, the best case and most likely far outweigh the worst case, I'm going to go ahead and actually introduce myself. So you can see how this is actually utilized in everyday situations, not just personal, not just business, but any time it comes to making a decision. So take that on board. Remember that there's only ever three outcomes, so don't procrastinate, and whatever you do, go ahead and make that decision, whether it's a go ahead or whether it's a no. move along. You know, you've made that decision. You've either moved forward on it or decided not to do it. You've taken care of that, and you now can move on to the next decision that you then have to make. So that's it from me. If you want to see how I've been able to take this process of decision making and apply it to property and actually create a level of wealth that, you know, most people can only dream of, then feel free to get in contact with us to see how we can actually help you take that next step to understanding your property journey and taking you to that next level. That's it for me. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care for now.